You've just entered the CyBEAR Report, your digital zone for all things Chicago Bears. Bear down. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. You can feel it, right? That buzz for the NFL opening night is finally here, and we are channeling all that energy into looking at a really great matchup, Chicago Bears versus the Minnesota Vikings. Monday Night Football, September 8th, 2025. So our mission today for you, the listener, is to really arm you with the key insights, the surprising facts, maybe some aha moments you need to get what's really going on in this game. You know, beyond just who wins or loses, we've got through a ton of sources, local sports radio stuff, deep journalistic pieces, coach quotes, player takes, the works. It's all designed to get you informed fast, basically your shortcut to the heart of this game. Okay, so first things first, when a season kicks off, you got to look at the injury report. That's the first critical domino, really. And for both the Bears and the Vikings, these early issues, well, they could definitely shape this Monday night game. Let's start there. How are these absences creating maybe strategic vulnerabilities for Chicago? Their top cornerback, Jalen Johnson. He's dealing with calf and groin issues. Was really limited in practice. His status very much up in the air.
Just a few days ago, he was sounding, realistic and cautious. Even said he wouldn't have been able to play if a game was right then. Losing him isn't just losing talent. It's a Lionel. It's a big hit to covering top receivers. And there's T.J. Edwards, key linebacker. He didn't practice. Hamstring.
If he's out, the rookie, Ruben Hippolyte II, he's expected to step up.
Right.
That's a huge ask opening night. Plus, Rashawn Johnson, the running back, he's out with a foot thing. Jock Blackwell, DB, has a groin issue. Kyle Monungi, another back, was limited. Seemed okay. Maybe less severe hamstring, but still, depth takes a hit.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is that ripple effect you mentioned. It cascades, forces, changes right from the get-go.
Yeah.
If Johnson and Edwards are out, or even just really limited, it's not just that the defense is tested. It's more like Dennis Allen, the DC. He probably has to change his core blitz packages, right?
Yeah.
Which could expose the secondary more one-on-ones, maybe against some deep threats from the Vikings. Or think about Noah Sewell. If he has to play way more linebacker, he's off special teams. That could be a big deal, especially with those new kickoff rules. Creates chances for the Vikings in field position.
Right, good point.
And the backfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty thin. Might need to bring up someone like Britton Braun from the practice squad. Puts more pressure on DeAndre Swift against what should be a tough Vikings front.
Okay, so the Bears have their issues. But the Vikings, they're not exactly coming in perfectly healthy either. They've got some critical concerns that could also, shift things on Monday. Running back Xavier Scott, out. Ankle. Defensive lineman Elijah Williams, out. Hamstring. Safety Harrison Smith, doubtful. Illness. That's a massive loss in terms of experience, communication back there.
Yeah.
Christian Darrisaw, the tackle, questionable with a knee, affects their O-line. And then on IR, Rondale Moore, the receiver, done for the season, knee.
Wow.
And Jordan Addison, another receiver, suspended for the first 3 games. That really limits their passing game options early on.
Yeah, it does.
So, okay, looking at both sides, these injury reports are pretty extensive. How does this change the game plan for opening night? Are we just destined for a low-scoring grind? Or could it, maybe surprisingly, open up some specific high-risk plays for one coach or the other?
Well, it definitely feels like it tilts towards more of a cautious, maybe defensive kind of battle. When both teams are missing key guys, defensive leaders, playmakers on offense, coaches usually lean on what they do have. That's often their defensive schemes, running the ball.
Makes sense.
For Minnesota, without Addison and Moore, J.J. McCarthy might have fewer reliable guys to throw to, could force them into a more run-heavy game plan, which actually plays into the Bears' strength up front.
Right.
And then for the Bears, if Johnson and Edwards are iffy, maybe Allen simplifies his calls a bit. Avoid confusion, focus on basics, gap integrity, force the Vikings to put together long drives instead of hitting big plays. Could be a slow, physical start.
Okay, this is where our deep dive gets really interesting, I think, into the personality kind of shaking this Bears team now. Let's focus on the coach, Ben Johnson, making his big debut. We found some really incredible stuff about his competitive drive. There was this headline that just nailed it. Bears coach Ben Johnson, driven by his quest to entertain and embarrass.
Yeah, and that's not just talk, is it? Johnson, he admits he's in the entertainment industry, sure, but winning is everything. Caleb Williams even said Johnson talked about trying to embarrass opponents. And Johnson doesn't shy away from that word. Sharp word, he called it. It shows his core philosophy, right? Dominate the score, yes, but also the opponent's spirit. They call him a competitive pest, even admitted to competitive dickishness. It translates, to maybe aggressive fourth downs, confusing pre-snap shifts, always pushing tempo, trying deep shots, stuff designed to break their will. Someone compared him to Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Ruthless, just acts. Sportsmanship. That's for after the game, apparently.
Wow. And remember those comments he made about Matt LaFleur right when he got hired? People were wondering, like, does he know what he's doing? But this article confirms it. He ain't going to back off. When Xavier McKinney, the Packers safety, said the Lions Johnson's old team tried to embarrass people, Johnson thought that was just the best thing ever.
The greatest compliment.
But, okay, here's a question. He's a rookie head coach, developing quarterback. Is there a risk this super aggressive style could actually backfire early on? If the execution isn't perfect, maybe leads to turnovers, missed chances.
That's a really crucial question, yeah. But the swagger, it isn't totally unfounded, Johnson truly believes he was like the engine of that Lions team that won the division twice. Put up, 68 offensive TDs last year, NFL high in points, NFC best in yardage, like 409.5 per game.
Impressive numbers.
So that success, it gives him, and you figure his players too, a lot of confidence, a lot of credibility. If he thinks his methods work, and that belief, it can be contagious. The risk of backfiring, always there with aggression, but he probably sees it as like a calculated risk, betting on his system, betting on his players to eventually execute it right.
So how does he actually get this mindset into the team? There was this great story from training camp. Johnson would show UFC clips before practice. Before they practiced with the Dolphins, he showed that crazy 5-second knockout. Masvidal versus Askren, UFC 239.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Flying knee.
Exactly. And his message was blunt. This is how you set tones. You are the aggressor. They even played the clip on repeat on TVs in the building the next morning. Cole Kmet said, timing is key for stuff like that. It wasn't just random motivation. It was a clear message. Be tone setters, like Grady Jarrett said. So this coaching style, it gives you a really interesting way to look at the Bears this season. It's not just about winning, it's how they win. Will this entertain and embarrass thing actually lead to dominance against the Vikings? Or will maybe a lack of early precision cause some problems? Okay, so moving from the coaching philosophy to, executing on the field, all eyes are definitely on the QB matchup Monday night. Caleb Williams for the Bears, #1 pick in 24.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings, also a first-rounder from 24. They actually faced off in high school camps, apparently. Now they meet in the NFC North. But our sources, they're pointing out some real concerns about Caleb's preseason. Can't really ignore those.
No, you can't. And those concerns, they're definitely warranted because they point to some fundamental things. Against the Chiefs starters, Caleb in the first team, 3 drives. 3 and out, 6 and out, then a field goal after they couldn't punch it in from the red zone.
Oof, not great.
Right. And the stats, 11 of 15, 113 yards, a TD, 117 rating. It looks okay on paper, but most of that came in a 2-minute drill against backups. The common problems were like holding the ball too long, basic procedural mistakes like that fumble on the very first play. Ben Johnson was visibly upset, clearly dismayed was the quote, said he thought we were past this stuff. And that visible reaction from Johnson, it's not just about one bad play, it tells you something deeper, right? It's insight into these foundational execution issues that kind of go against his whole aggressive precision offense idea.
Yeah.
It suggests the core mechanics, the quick reads, the decisive actions his system demands. They're maybe still being learned by key guys. Might require a more basic build-it-from-the-ground-up approach than he maybe thought initially.
Okay, so given those struggles early on, what are the coaches focusing on with him right now? Bears QB coach Declan Doyle said they're really trying to ingrain how we want him to think, specifically his processing ability, pre-snap and post-snap.
Right, and that processing ability, it's not just talent, it's super technical. It's about how fast a QB can read the defense after the snap, see the pressure, find the open guy, maybe see a running lane before the whole thing collapses.
Right.
For a young QB like Caleb, it's moving from thinking too much to just reacting. That moment when the chaos of an NFL defense kind of slows down enough so they can make quick, right decisions.
Gotcha. And cadence was another thing.
Yeah, definitely an area they saw improvement. Grady Jarrett admitted Caleb wasn't great with it early in camp, but by the end, he was drawing guys off sides. That's a critical little step.
Okay, the Mahomes comparison comes up a lot stylistically, the arm angles, the creativity.
It does, but it's really important to stress that the comparison needs to stop right there, at least for now, in terms of actual NFL results. Mahomes, remember, his second year after sitting his rookie year, throws 50 TDs, wins MVP. Caleb, tons of talent, tons of potential, sure. But he's not on the cusp of that right now. You need to be realistic about the timeline, Can't set impossible expectations just because they look kind of similar sometimes.
Yeah, fair point. Ryan Poles, the GM, really challenged Caleb Wright to be a professional football player. What does that actually look like day to day? We got this great little locker room story. Caleb was seen with a laminated play sheet, mouthing stuff, pointing, visualizing plays, closing his eyes even. Someone asked him what he was doing. He just said, that's what I'm doing, getting ready. That kind of focus, that engagement and commitment 24/7, it's exactly what you need from a young QB. It shows he's buying into the mental side. And it seems like his teammates are noticing too. Rome Odunze, who had a good year last year, 54 catches, 734 yards.
Yeah, solid receiver.
Yeah, he's publicly backing Caleb, said the team will bang it for sure, pushing back on what he called arbitrary criticism from national media. Having key guys like that support him visibly, that's got to be huge for a young QB's confidence.
Oh, absolutely. But like the source said, hope is not a plan. There's so much potential, definitely. Especially if Caleb makes a big jump, kind of like Jordan Love did in year 2. But, you would be delusional if you are saying that that's happening right now. Ben Johnson probably thought he could just plug Caleb in and boom, instant star. But he's realized there was more work to do than he thought. On Caleb and maybe the whole offense this first game. It's less about becoming a superstar overnight, more about showing real fundamental progress.
Yeah, exactly. So as you're watching on Monday, you're really seeing this young QB's journey start under massive pressure. How he handles this first real test, Johnson's system, Flores' defense. That's going to be a huge storyline. Sets the tone for his season. Watch his KBs, watch his eyes, how fast the ball comes out. Okay, but this game might not just be about the young QBs, right? It could easily come down to which defensive coordinator disrupts the other young QB first. We're talking Dennis Allen for the Bears, Brian Flores for the Vikings. 2 really smart guys playing chess.
Absolutely. Dennis Allen's whole thing for the Bears D is hunting the football, create takeaways, get the ball back fast, quickly, emphatically. And honestly, the Bears defense probably has a higher floor than the offense right now, even with those injuries we talked about. Grady Jarrett, the D tackle, even though he didn't play preseason, word is he's been unbelievable in practice, like a game-wrecking, real problematic defensive tackle. He's that force inside they haven't really had since Akeem Hicks. His return should make a huge difference. But Allen still has challenges. The pass rush is still a question mark. There's the Tyreek Stevenson problem, penalties, giving up big plays. Terrell Smith's injury hurts their depth. So given all that, Allen's going to have to dial up blitzes and take chances, I think, to create pressure, cover some gaps. We saw Nan Wright struggle badly in one preseason, Q2 penalties got burned, so there are weak spots.
Right.
But overall, their corner depth is pretty good. They can probably handle an injury or 2 there.
Okay, and on the other side, Brian Flores for the Vikings.
Yeah.
You know he's going to be coming after Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to rattle him, mess up the Bears' rhythm. The Vikings added guys like Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave to that interior D-line specifically to get pressure. Caleb's going to feel the heat right away. Flores will probably throw confusing blitzes, disguise coverages at him.
Oh, for sure. And the unpredictable part, Dennis Allen himself admitted there's going to be something we haven't seen yet. Since there's not much tape on J.J. McCarthy in this system, there's bound to be a wrinkle in the Vikings' plan. Maybe heavy play action early, weird blitzes to test the Bears. Maybe they run the ball more aggressively than expected. Who knows?
Yeah.
And Allen also warned, don't underestimate a first-round QB, even if he's young. So neither coach is taking the other lightly. It's not just about your plan. It's about adapting fast to what they throw at you.
Right. So when you're watching, really focus on those tactical moves by Allen and Flores. Who cracks the code first? Who rattles the other young QB? That could be where the game turns. Who gets that early mental edge? All right, we've laid it all out. Let's get to some predictions, betting insights for this Monday night game. First up, the over-under. It's set at 43.5 points. And I think we're both leaning the same way here. Definitely feels like an under.
Yeah, I'm firmly on the under too. And the reasoning kind of flows from everything we've discussed, right? You've got 2 really good, experienced defensive coordinators, Allen and Flores. They love complex, aggressive schemes. And they're facing 2 very young QBs trying to find their footing early in the season.
Exactly.
That just screams low-scoring game to me.
Yeah.
We often see Bears offenses start slow anyway. Lots of teams look kind of sluggish on opening night, honestly. All that pressure, expect some mistakes, maybe conservative calls in key spots, defenses making stands. Feels like an under game.
Okay, my official prediction then. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings winning this one, 20-17. I think Flores' defense manages to get to Caleb just enough to keep the Bears' offense from breaking out. And the Vikings, even with their issues, find a way to make just enough plays.
Interesting. See, I'm going the other way. I've got the Bears winning, 20-17.
Okay. Same score, different winner.
Yeah. For me, this opener feels like a real pivot point for the Bears. Soldier Field, it's going to be absolutely electric. They're honoring the 85 Bears. That energy, I think it helps the Bears start fast and maybe gets J.J. McCarthy just a little bit rattled in his first big road start environment.
Could be.
I think the Bears ultimately win this game with defense. They'll create a couple of key turnovers when it matters most. The offense, still a work in progress for sure. But the defense keeps them in it and swings it late in a tight, low-scoring game. I know Kevin O'Connell is ridiculously good in one-score games, like 22-7 or something crazy.
Yeah, that record is insane.
It is, but I think the Bears D finds a way to make the difference here, capitalize on those Vikings offensive limitations we talked about.
All right, so a split decision on the winner, but agreement on a close, low-scoring defensive battle. So just to recap everything we bug into. The crucial injury situations for both teams and how they change strategy. Ben Johnson's fascinating, entertaining, and embarrassed coaching philosophy. Caleb Williams' development. The potential, but also the real preseason concerns and what they're working on. And that huge strategic chess match between Dennis Allen and Brian Flores.
Right, and this deep dive, it wasn't just about predicting the winner, was it? It was about the stories around the game, the underlying battles. We heard about those concerns with Caleb's execution, the honest take that hope is not a plan. So here's maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on while you watch. If that Bears defense does play up to its potential, like we think it might, and if Ben Johnson's aggressive mindset really takes hold, how long can just potential keep the excitement going for this Bears offense before people need to see real tangible results? What are you going to be looking for beyond just the stats or the final score to really gauge if they're making progress in this huge first game?
That's a great question to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Bears versus Vikings Monday Night Football game. Stay informed, stay curious, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the CyBEAR Report. We're proud to be your voice in Bears Nation. If you liked what you heard, hit follow and spread the word. More news, more takes, more grit, coming your way soon. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, bear down.